Well, good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do our March 22nd spiritual principle a day in a meditation. I hope you're doing well this morning. The title of the meditation for today, Embracing Our Independence. We find that we can be happy in our own skin if we are willing to let go, not in the old sense of neglecting ourselves, but allowing ourselves to experience our freedom. Living Clean, Chapter 4, Letting Ourselves Go. Independence comes in many forms in NA. The most obvious comes in the form of freedom from active addiction, waiting to feel like we can truly make choices for ourselves, independent of our disease, can be like watching a pot before it boils. We get a little freedom when we stop using drugs, but we gain a greater sense of independence by actively participating in our new way of life. We go to meetings, share with other addicts, and read NA literature. Many of us have shared that we don't even recall losing the desire to use. I kept coming back and I followed suggestions, one member wrote. At some point, I realized it had been weeks since the last time I felt like getting high. Independence in other areas often comes about in a similar way. Many of us have become dependent on so much more than just the substances we use. We relied on defense mechanisms, escapist behaviors, antisocial tendencies, and much more. We may have relied on others to steer our life choices, even in recovery. Steps 6 and 7 help us break our dependence by showing us what keeps us from making our own choices. An addict shared about gaining independence by asking, "What would my life look like if I weren't afraid?" Practicing independence allows us to be creative. In early recovery, freedom sometimes felt like a punishment or a chore because I didn't know what to do with myself, one member wrote. Deciding to get serious about recovery was one of my first truly independent choices. I got the courage to take responsibility for my life, gain stability, become a part of society. I used to depend on others for everything. Now, people in my life can depend on me. Like that. I used to depend on others for everything. Now people in my life can depend on me. It says practicing independence helps us embrace our freedom rather than letting the open horizon scare me. I will take the wheel and trust my higher power to navigate. Okay, let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. It's a good meditation. I'm just sitting here thinking, and as I'm thinking, I'm getting distracted from the reading because I'm thinking to myself, how self-supporting am I? How independent am I? Am I a person today that other people can come to and depend on? Or am I still dependent? And then as I was reading, I started thinking about, having a paycheck and actually going and paying the bills and having just a small percentage left for gas, you know, travel 30 minutes one way every day and back, and just a little sliver for groceries. When I make my coffee, I look around in my cabinets in my refrigerator and I figure out just how many more days I can get out of that half a gallon of milk that's left. Or do I need to tap that budget and go get some more now? Or should I let them see that there's only half a gallon left? Maybe you don't need cereal and milk for breakfast to drink, right? Maybe you just have the cereal and drink the milk that's left over, right? And start allowing them to budget what they need to do and teach them. Money doesn't grow on trees. So as I'm sitting here reading this, I'm thinking to myself, okay, MightyStream, you were a little bit lax in this area. Tighten up. Tighten up. Because ultimately, the month runs out after the money has run out for most people. So live life as though you know there's a big stretch of days in a month that we all need to get through. And living recklessly, financially, is not evidence of my recovery. Because I'm not dependent on anyone today. I'm independent. But I have others, this is the point, I have others that are depending upon me to make sure that the money stretches for the whole month, that the cupboards are full and that there's food in the fridge for them, their bellies to be full, that there would be lights on, right? There would be power in the house. They depend on me, and I take it quite seriously. So I was just, getting carried away as I was reading because, honestly, I enjoy doing the meditations, but honestly, I don't do them ahead of time unless I know I have something that's going to happen, like I don't want to say a funeral service, but maybe like a surgery or something like that. Or I don't know. Usually that's the case. Or I'm traveling. I know that in the morning hours I'm going to be driving or something like that. I'll try to get up early enough to do it. But there are times I pre-record to make sure it's there waiting for you. So honestly, I'm just reading this for myself for the first time when I'm reading it with you. I don't have a premeditated thought about what I'm going to say. It's hitting my energy, it's hitting my spirit at the same time, or in the same way it hits yours when you listen to it in the morning. I haven't gone a day ahead and read it to say, oh, that's what tomorrow's about. And then I got all this time to think about what I'm going to say. And so sometimes that's why it seems like I'm shocked or I'm having a reaction to what I'm reading, because I am. And I like that. I like the freshness, the authenticity of my reading. I like it because it means that I'm sharing a moment with others. Yeah, and so that's what was going on. I mean, I was trying to just read straight through, but there were some areas in here that I was like, think about that. How many defense mechanisms did you actually have before you got into your recovery? I say into, I'm not talking about clean. I'm talking about into my recovery, where I'm actually applying the spiritual principles of this program in all my affairs, of the steps, right? How many defense mechanisms are lingering? Oh, you pulled away from those dependency tendencies to a degree, but how many are lingering? You know, I was my husband, we used to own a roofing company, and we employed, gosh, I mean, I think at one time we probably had 6 guys working a major industrial type roofing project with us. So we've hired people in 1099 them, and the point is we had a fleet of vehicles in our driveway. I'm talking about, and everything, every truck, every SUV was bright red. And eventually we got rid of everything but the newest truck. And this new truck that I've been driving for about a long time, just say a long time. This vehicle, you almost need a step ladder to step up on the runner to get into the truck. It's so large. It has extra sets of mirrors so that you can see the ground, because it's just so large that those mirrors help you to not take off curbs and drive over people standing on corners. And I've just gotten so irritated. Every day it's like putting on an astronaut suit and going to work, and then taking the astronaut suit off, and then working, and then put it back on to drive home. And I've just been so exhausted just driving this humongous truck. And it's a gas guzzler, right? So it definitely, you know, easily, easily $500 worth of gas a month. And I've just gotten so exhausted with it. And so I'm planning on going to this Detroit area convention. And I said, it would really be nice if I didn't have to drive this big old truck and try and park it in the ramp for the convention. I just don't see that happening. I would have to rent something smaller or borrow my mother's vehicle, something smaller, in order to make this convention. So rent or borrow are my options. And I don't know, I just got to thinking, why this topic has been coming up about being fully self-supporting. And I thought to myself, that is a tendency of yours to lean into your mother. Well, she never drives it, right? But to lean into her when you don't need to. That's a lingering tendency. And I don't want that. It might sound small to you, but I'm like, I'm not, even though she's already said yes, I am not going to borrow her vehicle. I'm going to take all of the resources that I have access to and get my Jeep out of the shop. And we're talking about thousands of dollars for this Jeep to get out of the shop. And that's what I did. I pick it up today. I'll have my Jeep sometime today, and I will be driving the vehicle I chose. And that feels good to me. That feels right to me. That's just how this meditation is hitting me. The empowerment that I'm getting from it. What's going on with you? What defense mechanisms or behaviors are you still holding on to, even though they seem minute to other people? but you know that you can do better. Hey, guys, that's all Mighty Stream is trying to do. Do better, right? Make a decision and just follow that. Do better, right? Not perfect. I'm not saying perfect, but make some progress in this direction of being able to be independent in other areas of your life. Think about it. Think about it as you're listening to this meditation. What areas can I do better in? Do you find yourself always having to, uh, I don't know, uh, figure out what you're going to do for groceries the last few days of the month? Let me tell you one other area that I'm doing better in. Just one area and I'm done, okay? I want my family to eat healthy. Being vegan would be perfect for me, but that's not going to happen. But I have gotten to the point where, unless it's pizza, I really am not someone that eats a lot of meat, right? I do like seafood, but it has to be cooked right. And I'm just not going to eat anyone's fish, right? So I don't really eat a lot of fish because I don't like the smell of it. I don't want it in my house, right? So I haven't figured that piece out, but I do love fish. So I want my family to eat better, right? And so and they love spaghetti. So I've decided to come away from ground beef because I won't eat it when I make spaghetti. And now I switched over to turkey, ground turkey. And they can't tell the difference. But something occurred to me. The last batch of spaghetti I made was like, you know what? Why not? Why not start freezing the things you cook and putting them in these little containers so that they can warm them up when they're ready to eat? You would throw less food away on garbage day. You would have less food that you have to throw away if you did that. And so I made a decision. That's exactly what I'm going to do. That's an area that I can improve in and I want to improve in. Now it's your turn. Take this meditation and run with it. Practicing independence helps us embrace our freedom. Rather than letting the open horizon scare us, take the wheel. Trust your higher power to navigate you. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose. I already am, but I'm going to make it greater. Talk to you soon.